everybody, and welcome to Growth Marketing for Martians. I am your host, as always, Jeff Lambert. I'm joined today by my co-host virtually, Rogelio Rodriguez. Rod, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Doing well. Thank you myself, I guess, for being here too.
Yes, we are both happy to bring you a new episode today, and we're really excited because we have on the show Risen social media coordinator, Andrea Hernandez. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Absolutely. Yes, it's great to have you. We've been talking about doing this for a couple months, and I'm glad that we finally can, and I can't wait to
Yes,
jump
yeah.
into the topic. Now, before we get into the actual content that we're going to be discussing, I'd like to just give you a moment to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. What is your background in marketing and social
Okay,
media?
so I am a college student right now. I am studying marketing at UNIVE here at Dominican Republic. And I started doing social media when I was 16. I was in high school. Um, I pretty much, I did a lot of design and just like randomly posted. I didn't know anything. But then I just started, watching a lot of videos of, leaders in the industry. And then I decided that I want to study marketing. And I kept doing like community manager jobs for small agencies until last year I met Jeffrey at UNIVE. He was my teacher for 3 days. But now we have been working together for like 6, 7 months.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride for sure. And
Yes, it
I
has.
didn't know I was the only person there at the university whose Spanish was not great. No bueno, that's for sure. But we made it work, and you stood out in the class in terms of your interest in the topic, and you took the opportunity when we put it out there. Rod had mentioned to the group, hey, we're looking to hire, we're looking for people to grow with the company. You were the one
Yes.
that jumped right on that. You sent in your resume, you were proactive in doing that. So I think there's a lesson in there for some of our listeners too. You got to grab the old bull by
Absolutely.
the horns sometimes.
Absolutely.
So kudos to that. So Andrea, you've had a lot of experience in developing social media campaigns for businesses. And I'd like to jump into a little bit about why that's important and some tips you have for small businesses or marketing professionals who are trying to get more out of their social media accounts. So Rod, I'm going to kick it over to you. Where do you want to start? This is a big topic, but we have a professional in front of us. So let's take advantage of it, right?
Do it. So, yeah, I mean, I think my first question is how effective is social media marketing for brands and why is it worth their time?
So, this is a great question because I've worked with B2B companies and many people are like, oh, that's so boring. But the thing is that even if you're a B2B company, you have to have an online presence. Maybe not on all of the social media platforms, but of course there's something there for you. And I brought some statistics here that probably resume that. And first of all is that 50% of the worldwide population, it's online right now. So those are like 3.3 billion people. And Statista projected that for 2025, 4.4 billion people will be on social media, and that number is only growing. So another thing is that 65% of marketers are increasing their budget to social media, or however you can say that. And the thing is that right now, in the middle of this situation, you have to lean in digital platforms and media because that's the easiest way you can contact your customers. An example that I have for you is that last year, Spotify had this campaign in which they created um, a summary of all the songs you've listened through the year, and they created this little randomizer in which they were like, okay, what will your name be if you were all the songs you listened through the year? And they encourage people to share that on their Instagram stories and on their feeds. And immediately everybody was sharing what they have listened to, their names and stuff. And why does this work? Because customers love personalization, and that's UGC, you just user generated content. And that gives you basically free advertising. So yeah.
Awesome. Social proof. Yeah, that's
That's true.
fantastic because I love my end of year list of music that I listen to. So yeah, I definitely share.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how effective that can be. It's fantastic.
It is.
It's great. And you have to think about how times are changing now. in-person advertising, whether it's a billboard or a kiosk at the mall, they're just not as effective as even 8 months ago. You know, people who have been forced inside now for an even longer period of time, they're used to getting things even more so digitally now. And so trying to find a way to increase your digital advertising footprint without significantly spending more money is important. And like you just mentioned,
Yeah.
Spotify ran a full campaign and they basically used other people's social media profiles and social
Yes.
media posts to be able to market their own product. Is genius, honestly.
Yeah. One other thing is that many people say that they get more inspired to buy something when they see it on social media.
Sure.
And so that's really important, like response time, because if I see um, a new Mac that I like, I will immediately DM those people and be like, hey, tell me about this. So that's a great place to be.
Absolutely. And you know, there's so many opportunities to be able to increase communication with customers using social media, and we'll jump into that a little bit more in a bit.
Yes.
A question I have for you to kind of follow up on Rod's, Andrea, you know, a lot of companies they'll start a social media account for their business, and they won't do much with it, or they'll do the wrong things with it. And there's a right way and a wrong way to use social
Yeah.
media. So could you talk a little bit about what are some of the mistakes that you see other companies making that you would recommend, like, hey, don't do this?
Yes. So the first thing is focusing on what we call vanity metrics, likes and followers, pretty much, because they are an image that you're painting, but they are not actually anything. Likes won't get you ROI, and many people have. This is awful. This is like the black market of social media, but there are actually people selling followers. And
Yeah.
maybe you're there investing a lot of money buying followers, but at the end of the day, I mean, who's buying from you? Who's sharing your content? Who's actually being connected with what you're posting? So the metrics that I think you should focus on are comments, I'll say shares and saves, because that means that your post actually was valuable to your consumers. And one other
Sure.
thing is that always have a little call to action in your bio, anywhere you are, so people can look at your site and you'll get more website clicks and more information and leads.
I always like the analogy, and people talk about this with YouTube too. When you're using social media or when you're using, you know, a video sharing platform, you're using rented space. That's something you're either paying someone else for or you're using something that they've set up. You have
Yeah.
to work on getting them out of that space and back to you, whether it's your website, your online store, wherever your organic presence is. That's where you want them to go eventually, right?
Yes. But that's where marketing, connects together, because we have a sales funnel, we have an inbound flywheel. You can use that for your social media strategy, and it works.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a format to it, and it applies to this. And we do have some other episodes covering the flywheel and how you can utilize that. Absolutely. So we have a very important one that you covered: vanity metrics. Not a good idea,
Yes.
and offering some way for people to continue their journey with you if they do visit you
Yeah.
on social media. Do you have any other mistakes that you see businesses make on a regular basis that
Yes.
they should avoid?
So one of them is not answering to comments. I will talk about this further, but social media is a place for community, and people want to be seen. So I've seen a lot of brands just letting comments flow over their feed, and that's just how bad you're doing. If you see a positive feedback, if you see somebody sharing your content, and I've done this before, I didn't mention it earlier, but I have a blog, a literature blog. I post short stories, book reviews, and every time somebody shares my content or follows me, I'm just like, oh my god, you followed me, thank you, you made my day. Or sometimes I just like go through their feed, check what they're doing, and just start a conversation. At the end of the day, we're all people, and even if there's a screen, it we're people, so we want to be kind, we want to have positivity around us. And another really usual mistake I see people having is that they don't have a strategy. They're just posting. And as I said earlier, there are 3 billion people online. So your post, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't play around with the platform features, hashtags, shares, many other things, your post will just get lost into this void of content. So when are you going to reach your customers like that?
Yeah.
Take it seriously, basically, what you're saying, what I hear.
Exactly.
So, Andrea, you mentioned having a plan and a strategy. So, uh, part of that is identifying, which platforms. So, which platforms are actually worth my time?
Okay, so I could talk to you about like all the big ones, but first you have to know that you have to study, you have to have your data, and see where your customers are. But I'm just gonna like jump a little bit on the platforms we already know. For example, Facebook. I think it's no secret that the fastest growing age group on Facebook is 65 and above. Yes, so that's my grandma,
Yes.
and my parents are younger, but they enter there because the other really large demographic group is from like 25 to 54.
Okay.
And the amount of teens, as you see, is decreasing.
Yeah.
So then we have Twitter. And as I said before, the content on Twitter for me is literally just thoughts. People just post anything that comes to their head. So Twitter receives 500 million tweets a day. And yeah, so users on Twitter are wealthy and educated, so you see a lot of news. And one tip that I will have for anybody that wants to, enter Twitter is that post a lot, 5, 6, 7, 10 times a day if you can. Um, another platform, and this one is increasing really, really fast. It's Instagram. So on Instagram, many teams have said that they find that this is the best place to find new products and services. The average age group it's like 18 to 24, and then we have two other ones that right now are really big, and it's TikTok. And TikTok is a really niche platform because usually you can find teenagers here. So from 16 to 24, and even younger, from like 14 to 15, sorry. And another thing is that it's the most downloaded app on the App Store. 15-second videos for you to watch any time of day. And people, like 90% of their users, like just stream through TikTok every day. So the other one is LinkedIn. And this is a really great fact that I found about LinkedIn, and it's that the lead conversion rates are 3 times higher than any other platforms when you're using their ads. And we all know LinkedIn is a little bit more formal. Males are predominant on LinkedIn, and mostly like the age groups that you can find there are 25 to 30 and 30 to 49. And the other one is YouTube. So YouTube is just awesome. Another thing is that, yeah, males, you can find most of the users are males. 73% of US adults are on YouTube. And the other wide age group is from 15 to 25. So another thing that I will say to people who want to start in social media is that if you have a really niche audience, you can use secondary platforms. For example, on my blog, since I do book reviews and I write about literature, I joined Wattpad. Wattpad is a social media just for readers and writers. And we also have Goodreads, which is a social media specifically for doing book reviews. But if you're a graphic designer, maybe you want to join the community on Behance, or if you are more of an informational brand, you can join Quora. And it will help you find your niche and your audience, and it's way more targeted.
So it's
Yeah.
Andrea, I really, and that's a great coverage of all the different platforms that are out there. I think what I hear you saying is you don't necessarily need to have a presence or an active presence on every single social media network out there, right?
Not at all. I mean, you have to get to know your audience first. Where is my audience? And then, I mean, as I said, if your audience is like really specific, really targeted, you can over time join secondary social media platforms, and this will help you a lot.
Now with Risen, just out of curiosity, since we're talking about it and we need to give a hypothetical, where is our core audience found in your experience? Like where are our target platforms?
So a great social media platform for Risen, for me, it's Instagram, because Instagram is a really visual platform, and not only that, but it has so many tools for you to show educational content, which is the one we're focusing on right now. We also have LinkedIn, since we're basically B2B because we're working with small business owners, and LinkedIn is the place they go for that. Another great place for us, for me, it's YouTube, because videos are and this is no secret, they're like the star format. People love watching videos, and people stream 40 minutes of video every day, and for me that's a lot. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that is a lot of streaming throughout the day. Yeah,
It
I like
really
it.
is. It's
There.
true. I mean, I have to admit, I'm probably hitting that every day myself,
Same.
even if I don't want to admit it. But you
Wow.
know, pandemic time, that's how it goes.
When you're not on
Well,
Netflix, you're on YouTube.
yeah, exactly. And well, not to jump off the boat too much, but I look at even my son. He's 4 years old, or looking at not my cousins, excuse me, my nieces and nephews. They know
Yes.
more YouTube personalities than they would ever know about TV shows or personalities that are on TV. My son didn't even know what a TV commercial was until like 6 months ago because it's not part of the world, you know?
Yep.
So it's a powerful medium, and video in general, to your point, is too. Andrea, shifting gears a little bit. So we've talked about some mistakes to avoid if you're trying to really make a productive social media presence. Why don't we talk a little bit about where to start? If I'm a marketer, if I'm a small business owner, and I want to either improve how I'm using social media, or I want to start using it, and maybe I'm just not there yet. What are some starter tips that you would recommend? Where would I begin?
Okay, so first, as I said before, know your audience. Am I speaking to teenagers and maybe I should go to TikTok, or am I speaking to my grandma and maybe I should just post a lot of news and big text on Facebook? Um, so yeah, know your audience. What do they like? What format do they like? Do they enjoy watching 15-second reels, or do they only tap through stories? Another thing is that, you know, define your goals. Be smart. This is basic marketing terms. Smart goals, um, and align them with your brand and business goals, of course. Then stick to a plan. And as I said before, you can like play around with social media's features like hashtags and reels and IGTV or Facebook's marketplace, which is a great place to be right now. And maybe create a strategy that you can follow. Do it step by step. Nobody's actually waiting for you, or maybe they are, but I really prefer something that is well planned than something that you plan very fast and then it doesn't work. And never give up. Maybe your first plan didn't work, but look at your insights and your data, have them on hand. I look at my insights every day. And the last thing, and this is more content making, speaking, it's the 80-20 rule, which is my favorite rule of all times. So 80% of your content should be informational, educational, funny. 20% self-promotion. Nobody wants to go on your feed and see all about you. They really don't care. So that's rough, but it is like that.
No, that's the truth, right? Absolutely. I mean, I unfollow people all the time when they're bombarding me with self promotion. I mean, I'm not gonna name any names here, but
Yes.
uh, we all know the example.
Another thing,
It's
You
no,
were
it's a
gonna say?
great point, Rod. I
another
agree.
thing
You go ahead, Andrea.
that, yes, sorry. It's follow leaders on your industry and find your community. As I said before, and I will continue saying through the episode, social media is a place for community, for you to go there instead of just scrolling through memes while you're in the bathroom. Why don't you check the news, or what's trending on your industry, because that will make for great content. And engaging with that people, that will make them say, oh, who's this person, and they will probably follow you. Another thing, and this is talking about design, create templates. if you're a small business owner or you're just starting with social media, and this happened to me, I used to spend a lot of time designing, just creating a great image. But the thing is that if you're in Instagram, that's really important. If you're in platforms like Twitter or Facebook, maybe not that much. So if you're select Instagram, create templates because those will save you a lot of time.
Absolutely. And just to mention, we will be releasing a pack of social media templates that Andrea herself created to be able to help these marketing professionals and small business owners speed up their creation workflow. So I will make sure to include a link for those down in the description and the show notes for if you're listening to check out. It's a great free resource that you can take advantage of.
Fantastic. I'm listening. I'll probably be the first one to download it. I need some templates.
Tag us.
I will. Don't worry. So, and this is my last question for this part, but I would love to learn more about, the lessons you've learned since you started out. Just kind of like, some of the finer points that you would like to share with our audience for them to really really put together a plan for themselves, right, to be successful. Some lessons you've learned from doing social media for the last few months for us and before.
So be patient. I am learning and I keep learning, and be humble because I always look to learn from people who I already got through this and already have a social media presence established. And I always, you can do that and you can put that on your strategy. I always just jump into their DMs and comments and I'm like, hey, I need help. What do you do to be here? And another thing is that social media, and I heard this on Inbound, the HubSpot conference a couple of months ago, social media is a 24/7 job, and that's 100% true. You always have to be there for your users. They need your help, and you have to show them why do they need you. So respond to their comments, even if they're negative comments. Don't leave them there. Don't delete them. Be smart. In this case, take your time to answer, and maybe approach them in a different way, maybe a phone call, because at the end of the day, maybe they're just people who are mad and they just want to, find something. Yeah. So another thing, I already said this, social media is a place for community, and I think I explained that very well. And people want to see faces. Don't just grab your Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn and post things that are not about you. Show your team, show your process, give credibility, and keep testing. As Gary Vee said once, social media is what you make of it. There are a lot of people saying that social media is toxic. It is not. Maybe there are haters, maybe there are bots, but at the end of the day, it's our job as social media coordinators, marketers, business owners to make social media a great place for our customers and for ourselves. And yeah, be kind.
It's a great point, Andrea. And, that crosses over into what we do overall as marketers. You treat people with respect and they're going to care about what you're saying to them.
Exactly.
Well, Andrea, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'd like to give you the opportunity. I know some of our listeners would love to connect with you outside of the show. We may have some people who are doing this who want to seek out some more advice from you based on what you've said. How can people connect with you?
So I will totally encourage you to go out to check my blog, Child of the Sol, Child of the SOL. It's a Spanglish name. And you can anytime, I have my email there. You can drop into my DMs, ask for help, coaching, whatever you need.
Well, thank you again, Andrea, for the social media growth tips. I appreciate the time.
I appreciate you too. Thank you for having me again.